I got a new toy in the mail. Well, actually, I technically got two. These are some Wharfedale Pro Typhon speakers. I have not used anything from this series before. Full disclosure, I am technically a Wharfedale Pro dealer for another couple weeks. They are no longer dealing with one of my suppliers, so I am losing them as something I can carry, which is why I got these at a crazy good deal. So I will try, when I get around to evaluate them not at the price I paid, but at the price they normally sell for. Now these are, for the most part, pretty inexpensive for what you get kind of speakers. So, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's nice high density foam protecting it, no styrofoam stuff to deal with. Unfortunately, in my area, they don't recycle this stuff, but I can rip that off and recycle the cardboard at least. And then, in true Wharfedale fashion, it's bagged nicely, which these do work as speaker covers if you hang on. Right, so let's get to the speaker in a second. Manual power cable. Looks actually like a decent length power cable, which is nice. Oftentimes, they'll ship these things with like a 5-foot cable. It's like, I'm going to be putting this on a speaker stand, guys. And then, now, I'm not sure on this yet. I might end up really liking it. This stand here is a wedge to use it as a stage monitor. The reason I'm at odds about it, proprietary piece of plastic versus building it into the cabinet design. From what Wharfedale says on their website, they went this option because it meant they didn't have to compromise on the cabinet design to make it do double duty. Long story long, it's probably because it's cheaper to do it this way. So let's take a look at the speaker. Yeah, I forgot that these come with a bag. Oh, I got somebody coming. I'll finish this later. Hopefully my mic is close to the same spot. Oh, now I've got this cable over to this side. There we go. All right, where were we? Well, yeah, box, nice, big. They defend this thing well. I'm quite happy to see, yeah, some really nice foam on there. My local shipping doesn't necessarily treat it the best. And yeah, I think we were talking about this guy where, yeah, I think I have a suspicion they went this route because it was a little bit cheaper, but they might be onto something where instead of sacrificing the integrity of the cabinet to make it play double duty, add an extra piece of hardware so that you can have it do that if you need it. Because there's a lot of people who are going to be buying these speakers that'll never have them on their side. So I kind of understand it, but I just don't know. But let's take a look at the speaker. Yeah, so like they ship in these cloth bags. I forgot about that. These are actually quite nice. They will work as a dust cover. So if you're storing these and you don't feel like buying an extra, like a padded bag, though that video is coming, they're a good option. Now you might notice I'm throwing the speaker around like it's nothing because these don't weigh a whole lot, at least compared to my other speakers, 35 pounds. But let's take a look here. Ooh, they tell you 1440 watt peak, 720 watt continuous written on the tag. Warms my heart. Oh, and that's actually kind of nice. The tag on this, instead of being wrapped around one of the handles or awkward somewhere, they have put, was there a little schmutz? Oh, that went away instantly. They have put this actually in the screw here. So to take this off, I just have to loosen that slightly and then it's gone. But yeah, this Typhon here, I bought two of these. Let's take a look at the front here. Very modern design. I've mostly from Wharfedale dealt with their Titan speakers, which the Typhon has a very traditional shape for a plastic enclosure. Very modern looking cabinet versus, say, the Typhon series, which I'm a big fan of the Typhon series for the same reason I'm a big fan of this. I sold some of the Typhon speakers to a local rodeo because they actually have a rating for dust as well as water/moisture. We hooked them up with 2 of those, passive, with a nice, I think it was an Ashley amp, really overbuilt system, but that's going to last them so long. Enter these guys. This plastic enclosure here, with some good decisions, is also IP54 rated. Now that doesn't mean like waterproof, it's water resistant, so if it gets splashed, very handy to know you're probably going to be fine, right? Somebody spills a beer on the front, yeah, it's going to suck to clean off after, but it's not as bad as if it was a fully exposed paper cone or something underneath there. And yeah, so they also are dust rated and whatnot. So using these outside is going to be a lot better than some of my other speakers. Most outdoor events, we just kind of get away with throwing speakers up on stands that aren't supposed to be used outdoors. This, they actually went and got the rating. So let's take a look at other aspects of the enclosure, because yeah, I'm not doing a sound review on these yet. That's going to come later after I take them out to a gig or two to see how they work. 35 pounds powered, so not too heavy, but not ridiculously light. This is the 12-inch version. They make them in a 15. I tried to get one in an 8, but again, my supplier is no longer carrying these, so they were sold out. So I've got the 8-inch in the Taurus line coming in, which the Typhon, I believe, is like the step up from that, and has that rating, which is, I think, why they call it the Typhon versus some of their other names. I do like that they have like a particular naming scheme between them all that kind of keeps them all in line. You've got Titan, Typhon, Taurus. But I will probably at some point accidentally call this thing a Titan, just because Titan. Yeah. Cabinet has handles on top and the bottom, 2 on each side. That is just super convenient and super nice. Really like that. And then has handholds here. So if I flip it around, yeah, this thing is going to be really easy to throw around, manipulate on stage, getting it exactly where I want. That plastic bit here sits in there, and actually sits in there quite nicely, and that'll give you your tilt. If you lose this or it breaks, this is probably 3D printable, or you can, build something out of wood to kind of sit underneath this thing, I'm sure. But at itself, yeah, it just won't sit at quite the angle I would want for stage monitors in its stock configuration. Though I do feel, if you ever did lose that, a little bit of a wedge to keep it on, like it's angled slightly here, just a slight wedge to keep it up like that would probably be sufficient. So I'm worried less and less about that external component. On the bottom, we've got speaker pull hole with the tightening thing here. I recently got some speaker stands that tend to get stuck, and some of my other ones that don't have that. So I'm kind of looking forward to having that that lock on there. It's a lock, but that tightening screw. There is no like plastic buffer. So sometimes you'll see on like microphone stands or things like that where they've got a set screw, they'll have like a plastic or rubber sheet between the screws so that as you push, it's pushing that into it. This is metal on metal, so careful how tight you go with that. You will scratch up your stands and stuff too if you're like spinning this around like flipping it back and forth on a stand to get to the back or something like that, it will scratch up your stand. So just be aware of that. Not that that's a big deal. It's the part of the stand that's always going to be inside of an enclosure, but some people will care about that more than others. And then on the back, as it mentioned on the front, 720 watts, continuous. Ooh, now I don't know what the RMS is. I don't much care because continuous is the more important number when it comes to powered speakers. Passive RMS is really important, and then you can kind of deduce continuous, but when it's powered, I want to know what it's actually putting out. And yeah, that's no slouch. Oh, that's cool. Now I probably need to hang on to these for that whole IP rating thing, but there are plugs in the 1/4-inch jacks. I'll have to check the manual, but I'm willing to guess that those need to stay in for the waterproof aspect because they tend, or not waterproof, water resistant aspect. Though I wouldn't want to be splashing water against the back anyway. Again, it's nice to know that it can have a bit of water because specifically to get that, if you're unfamiliar, IP54, the first number is dust. So pretty darn good for dust. I believe 6 is fully dust proof, so 5 is pretty good. The 4 means it can be splashed by water from every side. Okay, so just, hey, it's water resistant because we laminated the cone or something like that. That's different. This can actually get water on this amplifier a little bit. Don't like test this by dumping a can of pop on it or something. And everything is sealed enough that it's going to be fine. So if you're outside and it starts raining a bit, you're probably good. It does specifically mention though on that rating that it'd be for like 5 minutes is the so if it starts raining, still a good idea to get these out of the rain. It might be just fine, right? Because to get that rating, it has to be able to make it at least 5 minutes. So it could make it longer, but 5 minutes is like the guarantee kind of thing. So careful there. On the back, we've got this has DSP. Only four settings: flat, monitor, bass, punch. That's kind of all it needs. The flat is supposed to be full range, flat response, that kind of thing. So if you're using it front of house, that can be nice. If you're using it just for speech, that's probably pretty good too. I'll have to mess around with that. Monitor. And again, this is something I really like. I'm hoping it's in the manual too, but if you go to Wharfedale's website, it's unfortunately on a GIF, but I'm sure they have JPEGs of them too. They actually show you the frequency response changes between the different settings instead of just leaving it to your imagination. And the monitor takes your frequency response from being this low, this high to that. It just kind of sucks the whole thing in. It gets rid of some high frequencies that you don't really need on stage. Gets rid of some low frequencies that you don't really need on stage. So you reduce your stage rumble, and it actually helps with feedback. Really handy. Yeah, just don't leave it on monitor, obviously, if you're using it up front of house. Bass. Again, instead of just, hey, this is a bass boost, they specifically mention and tell you the bass is really useful if you are using it with a low volume. Right? Similar to if you've ever had a guitar amp that has like a bass boost kind of thing for using it at low volumes. When you turn stuff down, the first thing you tend to lose is you get more and more of a drop off on your bass frequencies. So having that upped a bit is nice. And then punch is probably what most people are going to set this to if you're a DJ or if you're using it on front of house, right? For front of house, probably either flat or punch. I'm going to test the two. For DJing stuff, I'm going to probably almost always have it on punch. Yeah. We've got 2 channel ins. That's nice. Cool. It looks, if I'm reading these buttons correctly, I haven't read the manual yet. So first is, like they're both balanced, but the first is mic or line input selectable. So if you're on mic, it is going to drastically increase the gain on that channel. So be very careful accidentally switching to that, because yeah, you'll want to make sure your volume level is kind of set. Now it is, when you're on line mode, 0 at the top, which is nice, and then they're saying +6 minus infinity. So it's probably ±6, but when you hit the bottom, it well, maybe the minus might taper off at a different rate than the plus. I would never bother with that plus unless, again, you're using a microphone, and then this +6 minus infinity knob turns into your volume / gain for the mic. Though I'm willing to guess, because we don't have separate gain knobs, mic probably has a set gain increase, like it just gives you a boost to the signal. So again, be careful of that switch if, yeah. But then we have a 90 hertz high pass. That's handy. 90 is a bit lower than I tend to do my crossovers, but that's just because my subs tend to have like 100 as their like default. But that is really nice to just have a high pass on here. You click it. That 10 hertz overlap isn't going to be a big deal if you do have a speaker that is, say, like a subwoofer that stock configuration is 100 hertz and under. But if it's like, hey, this subwoofer goes up to 150, then you're going to have too many overlapping frequencies, in my opinion. So I just keep that in mind. You might need a actual external crossover at that point, unless your sub lets you adjust its crossover point. So yeah, we have that. Oh, I see. Front LED button. That's actually really nice, because this does have like a cool LED thing. Not on the logo like they do on the Taurus, I think. I haven't plugged these things in yet. But you can turn the front LED on and off, and then they have a mix button for the output. They've got a nice balanced output there, so you can either be direct or you can have it be the mix of what you have going in here. So, yeah, overall, first impressions on this thing, it looks really good. It feels solid in the hands. I love that they tell me the actual stats on it right out of the gate. That IP54 rating is, you can kind of, you can almost feel the build quality here is helping lead to that. I don't know if you can see, I also like this. You see all those knobs vanish at that angle? Everything is in set. So if you have something on top of here, as long as it's not protruding into the cavity here, it should be able to stack something directly on top of this, as long as you're careful without damaging those, which is good, because I tend to put, I've got a like a hatchback I tend to use for smaller events rather than borrowing a truck. And oftentimes I put my speakers in and I put my table on top. So that's not going to, shear any of your knobs off. Keep them nice and protected. Yeah. But yeah, first impressions on this thing are darn good. Like I said, looks good, feels good, very, very well designed. Just in terms of, other than the floor monitor aspect, where I'm at odds, I think I like every design choice I see here. But yeah, that's a long-winded unboxing and overview of the Wharfedale Typhon AX12. Let me know if you have any questions on this, and I can see if I can answer them, as well as a review coming probably in a few months after I've really let these things rip. Talk to you soon.